See that there? We have over 300 subscribers, so in today's video we are going to be doing a Q&A video answering your questions. So I'm just going to be here with Trico, and then I'll move on to a few other reptiles as we go on with the questions. So yeah, let's get into it. So our first question is from King of Slings, and it is, what got you into reptiles? Now, in terms of that, I'd say what got me into reptiles is a number of things. I've always been fascinated by animals, I've always really liked them, and I'd go to zoos quite often. I enjoy finding amphibians outside in the UK. There aren't many native reptiles, and all of which I've found after I've had this YouTube channel. I've been really into reptiles, so it's not really that, but I have found common frogs, common toads and newts all outside in the UK, so that sort of inspired me a bit. As I said, I've really liked animals, watching nature programs and things like that, really, dinosaurs, so that sort of inspired me a bit. But yeah, I'd say I've always liked animals, but reptiles specifically sort of got me into it when seeing more in-depth nature programs, things like that, learning more about them as I got a bit older. So yeah, I hope that sort of answers your question, and we'll move on to the next question. So our next question is from Robert's channel, and he asked, what made you want to get Trico? So with it, I wanted a pet, and I was thinking, should I get a lizard or a salamander or something like that, something that I hadn't had before and that I thought was quite cool. I also really like Pokemon, which is why she's called Trico, Gecko Pokemon and Charmander and so on. So yeah, I wanted a lizard. We went into pet shops and we thought bearded dragon, that was mainly the lizard that you could keep. I hadn't really heard of anything else. But then we went in the pets at home, there was a leaflet on crested geckos. I still have it to this day, I'll put something over the top. And we found that, we started researching YouTube videos, it was Clint's Reptiles, videoing crested geckos, all that. We got interested in that. We then found about leopard geckos and gargoyle geckos, things like that, because I needed something small that could fit in my room. Because, I mean, to this day, I probably wouldn't be able to fit a bearded dragon vivarium in this room, and also because they need varied diet, heat lamps, all of that, so this was just easier. And then I think I was actually going to get a gargoyle gecko, but then at the Doncaster Reptile Show a few years ago, 2021 it would have been, and yeah, so that was cancelled. So then we found this place called Slytherin Reptiles, which is where I got her. They made us this whole kit and everything, and that's why I got her. So we have a couple more questions from Robert's channel, and they are, how old are you and how long have you been in the reptile hobby? Now the first one I'm not going to answer, no particular reason, I just don't really want to answer it. But the second question, how long have I been in the reptile hobby? Now I got Trico in 2021, so that's 5 years, but I'd probably say from 2022 and 2023 is really when I got into the reptile hobby. 2023 was when I got Charmander, who was my second reptile, another crested gecko, and yeah, I went to a reptile show in 2022. I was watching more YouTube videos, I was more into it, and I was being more independent with my care. So I'd probably say about 4 years. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, and we'll move on to the next ones. Now our next question is, who inspired you for your channel? Any wildlife presenters or YouTubers? So in terms of wildlife presenters, David Attenborough, his Life in Cold Blood book and show, that one's really great. And Steve Batchel, Deadly 60, that inspired me and taught me a lot more about reptiles when I was younger. So definitely those two for wildlife presenters. And in terms of YouTubers, I could go on for ages. Clint's Reptiles, Wiccan's Wicked Reptiles, Leopard Gecko Reptiliatus, JTB Reptiles, Mike Titula. There's so many, and yeah, the list just goes on and on and on. Now our next question is, would you recommend reptiles to children? If so, which reptiles? So I think this kind of depends on a lot of things. Now reptiles, they live a long time. Reptiles that don't live a long time usually still live about 10 years, which is a big commitment. So if your child gets bored over something easily, then don't buy them a reptile. And also it depends on the age of the child, because if they're too young, then it won't end up well. Also how big the enclosure needs to be and how much space they have, and also how robust the reptile is, and if the parent is willing to look after the reptile if the child does eventually get bored, and is willing to take care of it, because it may last their entire childhood. So in terms of reptiles that I recommend leopard geckos and crested geckos. Not only are they common, but there's a lot of information out there, so you can easily find out a lot of the stuff that you need to know easily. Now the last questions of this Q&A are from Marble Madness, and this first question is, which reptile takes the longest to look after? And I'd definitely say Chameleon geckos in my collection, just because they're quite small, so I have to check that they're not right at the front before I close the door. I need to feed them quite regularly, have to give them calcium and things like that, so they're just smaller, so I have to be a bit more careful. And yeah, something special's been happening, which you'll see in next video. Another teaser for that video, I'll give you a 1 second shot there. So yeah, that's happening, and yeah, they're just quite small, and I can't really pick them up easily, especially my female back there, but the male's okay with it. And then he asked how many more reptiles are you planning to get. Now if you just saw what I showed you just then, the teaser, that might show you something, but then I don't have a specific number of how many reptiles I plan to get. There are a few that I would like to get. One of those is a fire salamander. I'm quite interested in keeping more amphibians, just because they don't need as much heating and lighting, and yeah, and maybe a Pac-Man frog, though I'm not too sure on that. Maybe a leopard gecko, a green anole, and I'd really like a tortoise. That one probably wouldn't be that soon, maybe in a few years, but I would really like a tortoise. Bearded dragon, same sort of thing with them, and Berber skinks, those are really cool as well. So I'd definitely consider keeping those species. I really want them, though right now I'd rather just make my care for the reptiles I already have a bit better, and then maybe later this year I can consider getting some more reptiles. So thank you for watching the Rich's Reptiles 300 subscriber Q&A. If you enjoyed watching this video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I want to thank you all for 300 subscribers, and hopefully we can get more and I can do another Q&A or another sort of celebration there. So I'll see you in the next video.